Matt Wilkinson, the 5 best songs in Apple Music.
It's Declan McKenna on Beats One. He's here with me now, live in London. Beats One London studio. We're going to go through the 5 best songs on Apple Music. I know bits and bobs about you, and we've met a few times before, and I've kind of watched with much happiness and interest in your rise. And you know, you were when did you write Brazil? First of all, how old were you? Because I heard that like 3-4 years ago or something.
Yeah, I was 15 when I wrote that song. And 15 when I actually put it out, and it's sort of never changed as a recording.
Was that one of the first songs you wrote, or had you been writing for ages?
I'd been writing for years. Even when I was 15, I'd been writing for years. It'd been something I'd always done.
Why is that? Where did it come from?
I think I was just always into music. I sort of got into busted really young and wanted to play guitar when I was really young, and sort of started playing a couple of years later. And even before I could play guitar, even before I knew what I was writing.
And what was your childhood like then? I know you had a bunch of older siblings.
Yeah, I have 5. Youngest is 6. So it was busy. It's weird sort of going back home and seeing so few people around, because everyone's kind of just doing their thing these days.
Was it a happy childhood then?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I think it was. I have a lot of happy memories growing up.
We had this conversation, me, Julie, and Ebro and Zane the other day. What's the worst thing you did as a kid? Did you steal anything? Or? I
was just quite a dweeb, really. I was just a bit of not a nerd, but kind of fitted in some places, kind of didn't in others, and just, I don't know, milled about in my own little dream world. I was a bit of a strange child.
Well, look, to bring it back to the topic in question, the 5 best songs in Apple Music, we're going to play Hall & Oates first of all.
Yes.
Where did Hall & Oates come into your life?
Actually, consciously not that long ago. I'd known a lot of their songs for a long time, but I think when sort of songwriting became the big factor of my life, the thing that I'd have to do now, it's like my job. Bands like Hall & Oates sort of came into my life really quickly. Hall & Oates, ABBA's another one.
Yeah,
but Hall & Oates, especially this song, Rich Girl, is just a masterclass in hooks. It's 2 minutes and it's nothing but hooks. And it's for a songwriter, that is just the absolute goal, amazing hooks throughout. And it's just brilliant.
You're a rich girl and you're gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. It's a bitch, girl, but it's gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. Say money won't get you too far,
The 5 best songs in Apple Music.
Don't you know that it's wrong to take what is given you so far gone on your own? You could get along if you try to be strong, but you'll never be strong, 'cause you're a rich girl and you're gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. It's a bitch, girl, and it's gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. So money won't get you too far, High and dry, out of the rain. It's so easy to hurt others when you can't feel pain. And don't you know that a love can't grow? 'Cause it's too much to give, 'cause you'd rather live for the thrill of it all. Oh, you're a rich girl and you're gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. And you can rely on the old man's money. You can rely
Hall & Oates are legendary.
Yeah.
Do you think Hall & Oates sound particularly cool, or is it lost in a sort of time warp? Do you know what I mean?
I was thinking, if I put out Rich Girl today, say if it was the next Declan McKenna single, would it I don't know if it would go down well. I know lots of people my age who love this song and love Hall & Oates, but I was thinking about it, I really couldn't tell you. I feel like it must be timeless, because it's just such a good song.
Who introduced you to Hall & Oates? Or did you find him yourself?
I think my brother Kieran probably played me a lot of a lot of Hall and Oates when I was sort of actually getting into them. And
Is it brothers and sisters or just brothers?
brothers and sisters, 2 brothers, 3 sisters.
That thing that happens when you sort of stumble into your brother or sister's room and they're playing something and then you kind of nick their records when they get bored with them. Did that happen for you as well?
Yeah, very much so. Like, I think my music taste growing up was like stealing what my siblings were listening to
Amazing.
because I thought it was great, because I thought it was cool. And like when sort of a lot of indie bands came out, when I was like probably about 7 years old or something like that, you know, when like the Strokes and like, I don't know, all that lot were coming out, and my siblings were sort of introducing that to me very, very early on. So I kind of got into that.
And what about the greats? Because this is the 5 best songs on Apple Music. And generally, when we have people such as yourself choosing these tracks, it veers from like stuff you might not be that aware of to a couple of absolute stone cold classics.
Most of this is like, this list is, apart from one which is just a straight up downer that I've been listening to recently, but they're all kind of hits.
They're all quite up as well.
They're all quite upbeat, apart from that last one, which I won't name yet. But they are just like big hits, and each song in their own little way just has
But why this one then?
undeniable hookiness.
Because we're going to play some Bowie.
Yes.
And I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of songs you could have picked.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of eras you could have picked.
Yeah.
Why this?
But I mean, Bowie's a kind of pick your mood thing, and I think I could have picked so many Bowie songs that I love, but like this one, I just was thinking about recently because I think I figured out why it's so good. I don't know if anyone else has said this, but Dave Bowie sings this song, and I think he kind of does it on a lot of songs. He sings it quite theatrically, but in a way that's like he's on his own, in a way that you would if you were singing in the shower. Sort of like, really want that song to make you break down and cry. It's like he sings the song as if he's like on his own, so sort of belting to himself, and it's the perfect song for that.
Which is what everybody wants to do.
Which is what everyone wants to do, and it's like he's sort of singing in this sort of theatrical way, but it's like almost as if he's like alone in his room, and it has all these little things that I do when I'm just singing on my own and no one's watching. I love it.
Do you ever take notes off, like listening to Bowie songs and think, well, I could utilise that, I can see what he's done there with that?
Probably got loads of them on my phone. I do loads of notes when I'm just listening to music, like,
really?
I wrote a note, I haven't done it yet, but like about copying the sort of vocals in one of the songs off Scary Monsters, the way he recorded the vocal, and there's like all these doubles that are just really cool.
Amazing.
But pulled in just behind the bridge, he lays her down. He frowns, gee, my life's a funny thing. Am I still too young? He kissed the then and there. She took his ring, took his babies. It took him minutes, took her nowhere. Heaven knows he'd have taken anything. All night. She wants a young American. The young American standing right through the picture window. She finds a slinky vagabond. He coughs as he passes a Ford Mustang. Heaven forbid she take anything but the freak and his title for nothing. This is a step and cuts his hand, showing nothing. It swoops like a song. She cries, where have all Papa's heroes gone? All night. She wants a young American. Young American, young American. She wants the young American. All right. Well, she wants the young American. All the way from Washington. Her breadwinner begs off the bathroom floor. We live for just these 20 years. Do we have to die for the 50 more? All right. He wants the young American. The young American. Do you remember your President Nixon? Do you remember the bills you have to pay, or even yesterday? all set so loud. Leather everywhere, and not a minute left from the ghetto. Well, would you carry your visa? Just in case of depression. Sit on your hands on the bus of survivors, blushing at all the Afro sealers. Ain't that close to love? Well, ain't that close to love? Well, it ain't that Barbie doll. Her heart's been broken just like you and all night. You want the young American, young American.
So this is the 5 best songs on Apple Music. We kicked it off with Hall & Oates. We just heard David Bowie. Declan McKenna is with me. Prince. So another artist who's died recently.
Yes.
Kind of wanted to ask, what's the influence of being 19 years old as you are now and having these huge names from the 60s and 70s, pioneers of music in our lifetime? I feel like we're the first generation to deal with that generation dying. And you haven't lived through their kind of music as they were making it, really.
No.
But so are you approaching people like Prince and David Bowie from a completely new point of view?
I mean, Bowie for me, like when he died, I was like at the peak of sort of really, really getting into Bowie. I was like, 16?
Yeah.
Bowie was like, it was quite important for like coming of age and quite important for a lot of, I mean, for a lot of people. Bowie is like one of those artists who, even after he's died, feels like timeless and feels like he still carries the same message. I don't feel like much has changed because he did such a good job at kind of, I guess, convincing you that he wasn't human.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of still convinced.
Which Prince kind of did as well.
Like Prince was just like, no one really knows much about him. I don't think.
He's an enigma.
Both just, I don't know, geniuses, I guess. Constructors of the most incredible pop songs, and When Doves Cry is like a perfect example of that. It reminds me of my 19th birthday. I went to this Prince night at the Blues Kitchen in Shoreditch and played this song, and I was just like, yes!
I love it, man.
Oh, it's great.
Dig, if you will, the picture of you and I engaged in a kiss. The sweat of your body covers me. Can you, my darling, can you picture this? Dream if you can, a courtyard, an ocean of violets in bloom. Animals strike curious poses. They feel the heat between me and you. Just leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold. Maybe I'm just too demanding. Maybe I'm just like my father, too bold. Maybe you're just like my mother. She's never satisfied.
It's Prince on Beats One, When Doves Cry, as chosen by Declan McKenna. I mean, that's up there, isn't it? One of the best songs ever. Easily.
It's so incredible, so simple, but so effective, so boogieable. Great, love it.
But then the next tune you picked is a complete scene setting changer, complete change of
Shapeshifter.
vibe and atmosphere, shapeshifter. The songs you've picked so far are all quite up and dancey and jumpy, which I think is the persona of you. When you see you on stage, that's who you are. But do you have these more introspective moments?
Yeah, I think anyone does as an artist. You've all kind of got a slow, more introspective. I think actually more as I write songs, my songs are like that. I think I just kind of take myself a little bit more seriously as a human being. There's room for partying and there's room for reflection within music, and I like to be a combination of both. And I feel like I have been, even though my music is kind of more on the party side normally. But I think there's room for both within
there's
music.
Depth, definitely, and there's melancholy, which I think is a very British thing in songwriting.
Yes,
talking of melancholy, I mean Belle and Sebastian, which is the next artist.
Ultimate melancholy, really.
Completely.
And this song in particular.
Why this song?
Belle and Sebastian's another one that I really didn't get into until fairly recently. Like, I had a lot of friends in school who were into them and stuff, but I just not quite got it. And I think there's so many bands who've kind of done their style since, or like done something similar since, that I never quite got into them until recently. And I was like, oh yeah, these songs are amazing. And Dear Catastrophe Waitress is one that just like, it keeps moving and it keeps kind of shocking you every time I listen to it. It like there's the line about the full can, it hits you with a full can of Coke, and that still like shocks me every time I hear it, because it's quite odd, but it's like sinister, and there's just such a like poetry to the lyrics, but there's also, I don't know, such beauty to the melody, and something still quite silly and quirky and Belle and Sebastian about it that just makes it like this really odd mixture of emotions that I don't think any other song has produced. It's like completely on its own in that. This song in particular sort of being quite dark but quite calming, like a friend.
Dear catastrophe waitress, dear catastrophe waitress, I'm sorry if you seem to have the weight of the world over you. I cherish your smile, there's a word of peace on your lips, say it and with tenderness I'll cherish you, I'll cherish you. Dear catastrophe girlfriend, dear catastrophe girlfriend, I'm sorry if he hit you with a full can of Coke, it's no joke. Your face is bleeding, you'll soon be leaving this town to the clowns who worship no one but themselves, no one but themselves. I hate feeling this way, oh, I hate feeling this way, oh, I know that you hate it too. Now that your coffee's growing cold, oh, all of the customers look so old. Oh, honey, if I could be so bold. Dear catastrophe waitress, dear catastrophe waitress, I'm sorry if the kids hold you in cold disregard. I know it's hard. Stick to what you know. You blow them all to the wall when they realize what you've been working for. What you've been working for. What you've been working for.
Matt Wilkinson, the 5 best songs in Apple Music.
So here's the thing, we're talking about the 5 best songs in Apple Music, and I'm relating it to you and your own music and the times that I've met you and what you're like as a person. And to get a bit deep and a bit personal, Are you happy with the way that your life is going at the moment?
Wow.
This is like, I feel like,
no,
this is part of the thing with 5 Best Songs in Apple Music. It's about getting to know you.
Yeah,
and
for
your
sure.
and where you're at and where your headspace is at.
Yeah, I am happy. It's just like, it's such a ridiculous point in time in my life at the minute. Like, there's so much going on, and like, you know, touring for 2 months, you're never going to enjoy that whole period of time. But like, ultimately, I'm in a very, very good place for where I want to go next, and that's all. You know, that's all I can really worry about. You just got to try and not be cynical about everything, because at the end of the day, like, when you're writing tunes and like playing shows for a living, like, I mean, it can be bad, but it can't, you know, I guess for me right now, it can't be that bad.
Tell us about this final song.
Yeah, this is a real downer. Like, the last one was quite dark. This one is like,
We've got
there's
progressively
no-
darker as we've gone along.
Yeah, that's actually right. That's correct. I didn't even think about that, but that is true. This song is just straight up dark, and I've basically Eels is another one I've got into actually super recently. Like, my tour manager gave me the book that Mark Everett, who is Eels, so I started reading it, and I just kind of started listening to Electroshock Blues, which is the album this song is from, and I don't know whether it's because I've read the book and I know specifically about the point in time that he wrote this song about, but there's something that is like, it's so dark and so horrible, and about like one of the worst times in this guy's life.
It's an album full of grief, isn't it? And horrible things that happened to him in his family life, and it's a reflection on that, and he puts it down in the studio so well.
This is like straight up honesty, which is like so beautiful. Like, it's not constructed, it's not I'm really sad, it's like the most blunt and obvious description about things, and it's just like, you can almost hear him seething in his voice. He's so angry that this stuff has happened to him and to his sister. There's something so honest and so horrific about that, which just puts you in this headspace, which is unparalleled. Another song that is just completely unique in the emotional response that it draws from you.
Completely. Well, this is it. This is your final choice in the 5 Best Songs on Apple Music. Eels, as chosen by Declan McKenna, Going to Your Funeral, Part 1. It's Eels on Beats One, Going to Your Funeral, Part 1, as picked as part of the 5 Best Songs on Apple Music by Declan McKenna. Thank you very much. I feel like we got to know each other really well.
Yeah, you got to know the ups and downs of Declan McKenna.
Most of them ups, which is nice.
Yeah, no, it's
which
mostly
is
quite positive.
The songs you picked were incredible. We kicked it off with Hall & Oates, Rich Girl. David Bowie, Young Americans, Prince, When Doves Cry, Ben and Sebastian, Dear Catastrophe, Waitress, and then that was Eels, Going to Your Funeral, Part 1. Thank you very much, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.